All right. Can you guys hear me now? Amelia's here to say hello. She is studying for math. Okay, can you confirm that you can hear me now? Because I think I had my phone. Okay, phew. All right, Shirley, thank you. Let's start again. I'm sorry about that. I was saying, welcome to Sunday morning coffee and a card Facebook Live. I realized that because I stream from two devices. I have to mute one device so there's no feedback. And I guess I'd accidentally muted my phone as well. So I'm glad you guys can hear me. Thank you for letting me know. So good morning, everybody. It's Sunday, March 6th, if you're watching live, and it's about 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time. And I'm here with your weekly Coffee and a Card Facebook Live. I am going to be making a card. If you saw my description today, I am going to be making a card that reflects kind of my heavy heart about the situation in Ukraine. And I haven't talked about it a lot, publicly. I mean, we have conversations about it often with my family, with my children. We've been watching the news a lot. So I just felt like it was on my heart to make a card today, just to kind of reflect some of the thoughts and feelings and emotion and compassion and empathy I have right now for Ukraine and the situation that's happening there. So I don't mean for it to be a heavy situation, but I mean, this is the reality of what's happening in our world. And it was important enough to me to make a card there. I'm just going to stop and say good morning. Actually, I'm going to pause for 1 second. I feel like you should be going to study. So you can say hello, and then I think you need to go. Yes, you can come back and say bye. Go and study for about 10 minutes and then come back. I need to get on with my live, okay? All right, so we are learning perfect squares. So my daughter does an enrichment math program, and one of the things that they have to learn is their perfect squares up to 30, which I don't even know mine. But anyway, so we've made flashcards and she's supposed to be studying for that today. So sorry about the distraction. So yes, I know it's important to everybody. And so the card that I'm going to be creating today is inspired by another demonstrator. I saw it on Instagram. And I hope that you guys like it. So for those that have not met me before, I'm Zara Premji. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and creative coach. I live in Markham, Ontario, Canada. I work as an occupational therapist in the school system, so I support students with special needs, physical and developmental disabilities, and help them to be successful in their school day. I also have 3 kids. I have 2 teenagers and an 8-year-old daughter. And it's a really, really busy life. And for those that aren't familiar with my story, 9 years ago, I was invited to a stamping workshop. And I had dabbled in a little bit of scrapbooking at the time, but I never really considered myself creative. And I didn't actually know what stamping was. And I knew that I just needed a night out. I needed a little bit of a break from the kind of daily routines of work and dinner, bedtime, bath time, all the things. And I went just to really kind of connect with friends. I was just really looking for an opportunity to hang out with some other friends and coworkers. And I went, and what happened that night, I didn't even realize at the time, was going to change my life, because it made me realize that I don't actually need to be creative to make beautiful cards. I've always been one that loved giving cards, but I would spend like the $12 at the card store. And I also kept all of the cards that I would receive because they were sentimental to me. So to be able to create my own cards and to be able to send them to other people was just kind of like the perfect collision of all the loves in my life. So anyway, so I also really love sharing card making ideas with others. I love connecting with people. I love being able to connect other people to each other. And so that's kind of the purpose of the weekly lives, is for me to be able to share some card making inspiration. I do chat a lot. I have always lots of stories and random things to share, and to be able to inspire you, hopefully, to give card making a try, or if you're already a card maker, to just get your stuff out and to create. So I see Shirley's comment here, and I just wanted to share that. Shirley says, "You and Stampin' Up! Have been my saving grace in our crazy world." Yes, there are so many things happening right now in our world, even beyond COVID. And I think that to be able to have something in your life that allows you to just focus on good, be in a space of gratitude, be in a space of trying to bring joy to others, I think really kind of helps to process some of the things that are happening in the world. Not to say that it's not sad or heart wrenching or doesn't weigh on us. And some people are possibly touched by some of the situations more closely than others. So I'm not in any way suggesting that this takes it away. But again, when you feel sort of in this space of like hopelessness or helplessness, sometimes just being able to focus on bringing joy, even if it is to one person, it can just help kind of get through some of those moments. So I will talk a little bit about the Ukraine, not the Ukraine, sorry, the situation in Ukraine. And yesterday in particular, we've been watching CNN quite a bit. And I'm so sorry. I hope this isn't like too heavy, but I feel like it's something, it's part of who I am and what I'm feeling. And so I just feel like it's important for me to share that so that you know kind of who I am and where this is coming from. Yesterday, we were watching CNN. We had it on almost all day, and there were some um, parts of the day that were particularly heavy for me. And I'm going to try not to get emotional, but one in particular was, as many of you know, there was bombing in some of the civilian corridors when there was supposed to be a ceasefire. And I just saw so many images and video of families taking their young children and trying to get out and, get to the train station or just get across the border. It's something that kept coming up on the screen over and over again. And it hit very close to home because I mean, I think we can all kind of envision what that must feel like to unexpectedly have to kind of uproot yourselves, leave your entire world behind. The other piece that was really powerful for me was there was a group of individuals who wanted to be able to rescue or to remove a number of critically ill children who were in a hospital in one of the areas that were being bombed. And so they couldn't televise any of it because it was kind of like an undercover operation, but they went in and were able to remove some of these children from, I don't know if it was a children's treatment center, but they were critically ill. There was one child in particular that they showed that had cerebral palsy, which again, like just hit really close to home because I work with a lot of students that have physical disabilities. And it was just talking a little bit about the family, like there was one caregiver with each child, but they would have had to leave some of their families behind and stuff. So it was just, it was really heavy on my heart. It has been throughout. I'm sure many of you are experiencing a whole roller coaster of emotions. Some of you might have family there or friends that are from Ukraine. And so I feel like this is just sort of a collective opportunity for us to connect, to share our common love of card making, and also just know that this is a safe space for us to feel what we're feeling. It's interesting to think about how you can connect card making to some of these really huge life-changing situations that are happening in the world. But I think that the community and the opportunity for us to feel like we have a space where we can connect together through this vehicle of card making is super important. So for those of you that look at this and think this is just about stamps, ink, and paper, it's so much more than that. It's about connections, it's about friendships, it's about community, it's about having a space where everybody can belong and everybody has a seat at the table. So thank you for listening to me. I'm going to get on with the card making. I'm going to be using a stamp set today. I'm going to flip this, and I just want to make sure that I haven't missed too many comments here. And okay, yeah, so it sounds like a lot of people are feeling a lot as well. And thanks, everybody. Okay, so while the card that I'm making today is represents the colors uh, of the Ukraine flag, it is obviously with that on my heart, and so if it inspires you to create or to even just create something different in similar colors, like I hope that this helps you in some way. And if you just want to watch and enjoy the card making, I hope that you enjoy that too. So we are going to be using a bundle called the Celebrate Sunflowers. And this is a bundle that was in our last year's annual catalog, and it returned in this year's annual catalog and is actually on sale this month. So we have a promotion called Savings in Bloom. And so for those of you that love this card or want this bundle and would like information about getting it at a discount, then certainly you can connect with me and I can help you with that. I'm not meaning to sound overly promotional, but I just, again, I always want to share that information that everything that I use here can be purchased through an online store. And so if you want more information about it, just feel free to reach out to me and I would be happy to help. So this is the Celebrate Sunflowers bundle. It is on sale currently for 20% off. There is a beautiful stamp set that has sunflowers, a large and a small. It's got some leaves, and then it's got some beautiful sentiments. So one of my favorite sentiments is congratulations on reaching a whole new level of wonderful. Let's celebrate you. Thanks a bunch and know that you are loved. Okay, so that's the sentiment we're going to be using today. It's a red rubber stamp. It's got, again, a variation of sizes, I guess. There's this one really beautiful large sunflower, which has a lot of gorgeous detail on it. And so that is the stamp set. And then there are coordinating dies, and these are called the Sunflowers dies. You can see that I had, sometimes when I die cut with some of my sets, I will keep kind of extra pieces. So this is one here that was using one of our retired designer series papers, and you can just see kind of the detail of the die cutting and how that comes together so nicely. So that is the die, well, those are some samples of what the die set will create. And I'll show you here, there are some detailed dies. So this one here we'll be using today. There are some really cute leaf and greenery dies. We've got a detailed leaf, and this overlaps over the outline leaf, as does the sunflower. Okay, so you'll get to see that in action. And the other item that I'm going to be using today, which is also on sale, is our mini cut and emboss machine. So you normally will see me using our larger cut and emboss because I've had it since it came out, and I love to be able to use the larger embossing folders and that sort of thing. So you tend to use the large, but for the purposes of today, I'm going to use our mini. Now, even if you have a large, our regular size Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, this is still a really good tool to have because you can see the size of it. So in terms of like the scale of it, this is the size of my hand, which looks a little big right now. But the mini Cut and Emboss machine folds up and is about the size of your palm, okay? And then you can open it up. And it comes with these plates that you can use to do your die cutting. And then you can also do some texture embossing with smaller dies and embossing folder. The opening on this is about, it's over 3.5 inches, but you can use a lot of our dies with this, just none of our larger ones. But this is also really good for if you go to crops or retreats, if you like to go take your crafting stuff with you on vacation, if you're going to the cottage, this is a really, really good tool for that. So we will get to have a look at this today, and this is also on sale. So it's regularly $78 and it's on sale for $62.25. Okay, so that is for the month of March, and I guess maybe for while supplies last. And so we will get to see some of that being used today. So let's start with our card. Now I have used some dies that are larger than the opening of the cut and emboss machine. So my card has the stitched greenery border, which I'm just going to show you a little close up. So this is one that you can't use with the mini. You can use it with the large, but this is a gorgeous background die. And once again, I'll tell you that I was inspired by a card made by another fellow demonstrator, Alana Wharf. And I loved her card. I tweaked mine a little bit, and but the colors and a lot of the elements of it are very similar. So here's the card that I'm going to be creating today. And you can see the stitched greenery. I've used a scallop stitched rectangle die. And then I've done some die cutting and stamping to be able to create this card. So I hope that you guys enjoy this, and I hope that it inspires you as well. I always say this, that you don't have to be creative to be able to do paper crafting or card making. And we tend to get I tend to get my inspiration from so many places, because as a busy mom who's working, it's often difficult to, find time to create when I'm all like fresh and alert. And many times I'm creating when I'm, tired or short on time. And so that notion that you have to always make up everything on your own, you need to get rid of that right away. People get inspiration from everywhere. And, if it helps you on your card making, then definitely take inspiration. You can give credit where credit is due, and just leverage that so that you can actually move forward and start making the cards versus sitting there and agonizing of what it is you're going to make. So what I'm doing right now is I am taking our adhesive sheets and I am just sticking it down onto the back of my Daffodil Delight cardstock. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to die cut that detailed sunflower, and this will already keep it like it'll make it sticky so that it sticks on like a sticker. Okay. The other piece that I'm going to also use with my, I realized I haven't cut it yet. Hang on. Is, I think I need to do this one here. So sorry, I'm just using my trimmer to cut for my leaves. Making a little bit of a mess here, but I never promised that these would be perfect. It's always a little messy. It's always a little, it's very unscripted, very imperfect, but we have fun, right? So that's the most important thing. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to peel the backing here of my adhesive sheet. My nails don't want to help me out today. I may need to use my piercing tool. Let's see how long this will take me to do this. Oh boy. Usually a bit easier and faster for me. Come on. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. I don't know, I might need to cut another sheet. This is not working for me. Oh, there we go. All right. Crisis averted. So I'm just going to take this piece and I'm sticking it down onto my pear pizzazz. Okay, so I'm going to cut out my detailed leaves. Now let me show you how these adhesive sheets work. So we'll do a little bit of die cutting first, and then we'll start to assemble. So I will take out my sunflower dies. Yeah, Shirley says inspiration is all around us. We just need to look. So I'm going to be using this large outline die, the detailed die. I'm going to use the leaves, and then I'm going to use this small center here. So let's start with just the regular outline die. And I'm just putting this onto my cut and emboss machine platform. And I'm going to take, good morning, Terry. Thank you for joining from snowy Colorado. I saw that a friend of mine today is in Jamaica right now. She had posted on her Instagram stories that she was starting her day with an early morning workout. And I looked at the scene and I could see that there were like, I don't think there were palm trees, but there were tropical trees outside the window. And I was like, wait a second, you're not in Pickering right now. Where are you? So she told me she's in Jamaica. So definitely no snow there. Okay, so we're now going to take the detailed sunflower and I'm going to just run this through. So all you do is you just sandwich it between your two clear plates and you hold it down. It does move. It's not as heavy as obviously as the regular cut and emboss machine. So you do have to kind of press down with some pressure to get that to cut. I'll leave that there. And then let's do our last few. So we'll do the detailed leaf here. Things are slipping and sliding all over. Thank you for sharing, Shirley. So if you feel like this is something that your friends or family would like to watch, or that might inspire a fellow card maker, you can go ahead and share it. What did I do with my piercing tool? I gotta get this piece out here. So you can share the video and spread the love. That means a lot to me, and I appreciate it when you do. The next one is this other leaf here. I just realized I haven't sipped my coffee yet, which I might have to do now because I can feel my throat getting a bit dry. Okay. There we go. So there is quite a bit of die cutting that needs to be done with this one. You can certainly do less of it if you'd like. It's not necessary to, do all of the same pieces that I'm doing. But again, if you have access to the tools and you enjoy die cutting, then why not? It is a sunny day in the GTA. It's sunny here too it's sunny in Markham, and apparently they're calling for like really high winds and a lot of rain. I don't know if that's changed. When I was listening to the news yesterday, we were hearing that there was going to be a lot of rain, but 15 degrees Celsius, which is not too bad at all. I'm not complaining. Let's see if I can double up here. There's my little, okay, so here's the little black piece, and I'm going to use this die here, just trying to work efficiently. All right, and I will clean up this mess in a second so we can start to stamp and assemble. It is a little bit of a disaster not having had I have had a coffee, I just haven't had a sip of my second one, which I just made before I started. Okay, the last piece we're going to do here is this. I'm using early espresso, and I'm going to just cut the center of this detailed sunflower. All right, so we'll just pop this out, and I just want this center part right here. Okay, so you don't actually need a big piece of the cardstock, you just need a small one, and we're going to cut that, and that's the last bit of die cutting that needs to be done here. I don't live in Pickering, Suzanne, so I don't know if it is there, but apparently it's supposed to rain today. It's not raining here yet in Markham. It's beautiful and sunny out. And it feels like a really good day for a walk. Okay, let me just get a little organized here, and we will start assembling. Okay, so I'm just going to take out these little bits, and and then we will start to assemble. Okay. Almost there. This is oddly satisfying. Like I always say that I'm a lazy stamper, but picking out these little bits, not necessarily when I'm like creating for a stamp camp or cutting for a stamp camp, because when you're doing that times 40, that can be, not as fun. But it's when you're doing like one or two, it's certainly kind of fun. Okay, so let me work on this for a second. All I'm going to do here is I'm just going to cut off these ends. Okay, again, doesn't have to be perfect. Pop out these pieces. It's just these little tiny extensions. Just cut around them. All right. There we go. So we've got that. And that is it for the die cutting. We are now moving on to the assembly part. This I should probably toss into my scrap bin right away. Otherwise, can anyone guess what will happen? For those of you that have been following for a while, you'll know that we are undergoing a massive basement renovation. And last week there was no construction happening because the construction team needed to work on another project. I guess some of their cabinetry had come in and they needed to go work on another project. Sorry. Oh, Carol, that's a great idea. She's saying, I wonder if we put the machine on a silicone mat, if that would help with slipping. It really would. That's actually, that reminds me of a little tip. Sometimes what you might not realize is that there are rubberized feet on here, but they do pick up dust and little particles just from being on your table. So if you were to just kind of clean that off, it certainly would make the grip a little better. Now, I was doing mine on paper, on grid paper, but if you do it on a little bit more of a, you know, a surface that will give it a bit of friction, you might find it'll stay more stable. So, okay. I can't remember what I was saying. I was saying something, but let me start to put these together. Actually, let me do the stamping first. So I am using the sentiment that says, know that you are loved. And I'm going to just make sure that this is straight. So I'm just using my grid paper here, and I'm just going to set that on the block straight. And then you just want to practice a couple of times on your grid paper to make sure that your sentiment is going to stamp straight. Okay, so I'm then just going to line this up with one of the lines on my grid paper, and it's crooked. So I'm going to take this off, and let's try that again, because sometimes the sticker goes on a little crooked. Let's see, let's try that now. Okay, I think that's closer. I think I'm going to have to angle it a little bit this way. Okay, so let's go now to the cardstock. And I'm just inking it up with Early Espresso. And stamping that on the cardstock. That's pretty good. Okay, so the card is going to say, know that you are loved. And we can set that aside for a few minutes while we start to assemble our sunflowers. So I'm going to take my, now here's a trick for when you are trying to layer this on, because you want to, there is a way that this matches up. And what I have found is that there are these 3 petals here that kind of seem to swing a little to the right. And then when you look on this outline here, I feel like that happens here too. That, I mean, they're all kind of going up and down, but these, there's like this, not trifecta. There are 3, I just really wanted to use that word. There are 3 of the petals of this sunflower outline that also kind of swing right. So that's been helpful in terms of being able to match it up more quickly. Sometimes you might get it a little off, but that is okay. And then just use the piercing part of your take your pick tool. And this is going to peel off the backing. And what you'll also see is these little round circles that are part of the die will also come out as well. So you don't have to actually poke those out. Makes it really easy, the adhesive sheets. These are a game changer when it comes to doing more of our detailed dies. So find those 3 little leaves. There we go. Pretty sure this is it. No, see, I got it wrong. Here we go. And then you just line it up. And then once you feel like you've got it fairly aligned, I'm hoping you can see this, then you just go ahead and press that down. Okay. And then we've got this beautiful sunflower. I've used 2 different shades of yellow. So I've used Bumblebee and Daffodil Delight. Okay. So now let's do the same thing with our leaves. We can take the adhesive sheets off. The adhesive sheets are honestly such a time saver. When I did my, and a mess saver. When I had done my very first, when I done my original card, I used liquid glue, and you learn quickly the hard way what might be the easier way to do it. This is so much faster. There's no glue all over my hands, and it's a perfect stick and very even too. So it's not popping out anywhere. So there we go. Just going to stick these down. And We're going to put the centers on the sunflower. I'm going to use my liquid glue for this. So I'll take this little black center and stick that down here. Oh, Reno update. Yes. I knew I was talking about something. Okay, so the construction team was not here for a week. And so it was actually nice to have a little bit of a break from the noise. Like there was a lot of, obviously they had to put the drywall up. There was a lot of like sawing and it was quite noisy for a few days. And then last week they weren't here and we were actually expecting them not to come back until Monday, but the contractor messaged my husband on Friday and said, oh, by the way, we're coming on Saturday to start the sanding. So yesterday they came, they sanded all the plaster on the drywall and they, it was such a mess. For those of you that have done renovations involving drywall, you'll know that there is dust everywhere. So they did turn off our furnace so that things wouldn't blow through the vents. And then they vacuumed everything up. But like as we were going downstairs, if you even just grazed the side of the wall, there was like a white cast all over the sleeve. So there's still a ton of dust. And what am I doing here? And when about an hour or two after they left, you could see like there was a layer of dust on our hardwood floor on the main floor. So it's a little messy, but it's okay. It'll all be worth it. So next steps are they are going to be coming back tomorrow and they will be doing the tiling in the bathrooms. They are installing the pot lights and the plugs. So our electrical will be functional and they're waiting for some cabinetry and then they'll be painting. So it's coming along. I think it's still probably 2 to 3 weeks out. But it's coming along smoothly. And then once that's done, we probably will have a little bit of a reprieve, but then we start the main floor, which is going to be interesting. I think we probably will need to move out of the house for a little while to get that going. And yeah, it's so messy. So yeah, we'll probably have to move out. We'll be, temporarily displaced, but it's we've lived in this house now for 13 years and we prior to COVID were so busy all the time with the kids programs and hockey that we didn't have time to actually like map out a plan for updating our house and between our work schedules and that kind of thing, it had just been way too busy. So in some ways having the last 2 years to kind of slow down a bit in life, I know that it's been traumatic. I know it's been challenging for so many, but I think having had the opportunity to just slow down and make time for the other things in life that have also been important to us was a real gift. So we are looking forward. I mean, it's been a hard few weeks in terms of just living, through the chaos. And it'll continue to be, we'll be displaced and not settled for a while, but we are grateful to be able to have the opportunity to do this, and to just in light of everything that's happening, to just be safe in our homes and, have the opportunities that we do. So I should have glued this down first, but I'll do that now. I'm just going to glue down this layer. So this is a card. I mean, if you wanted to create something like this, and if you have friends that are, first of all, any friend, anyone that would love to hear this message and receive this card. But again, if you may have people in your life that are very deeply and closely affected by what's happening currently, and I think sending a note to just let people know they're loved and thought of is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. So I am going to just create a bow. I'm using the Bumblebee gingham ribbon. This is one of my favorites. I kind of wish that we had this in every color because the gingham is really fun. And I think having the white and Bumblebee on here makes it a bit more of a soft ribbon. But I know we have this with Just Jade. So we have it in a greenish shade as part of a combo pack. But I would love to see this with some pink. That would make my pink loving heart. Very, very happy. Okay, so we are going to just figure out the best way to stick this down without covering the sentiment. So you can trim a little bit more later. Maybe I'll do that now just so that I see my position. You don't want to trim off too much because it does look nice to have the tails. But you do want them even, and then just stick it up a little higher if it's covering your sentiment. Okay, and just use a glue dot for that. Oh, Carol, that would have been nice. Maybe I was around during that time and have just forgotten. Has anyone been stamping for a while and you just are kind of like, you see something and you're like, oh, I forgot we had that. Because Stampin' Up! Does such a great job of coming out with new products, which we all feel like we need to have, that you kind of forget some of the oldies but goodies. Okay, so it's a little bit of a big bow, but I do love it. Where are my scissors? Just going to cut that on a little bit more of an angle. And that's the card. So let me bring this other one into view so you can see the original. Again, for those that joined us a little bit late, we are using the Celebrate Sunflowers bundle, which is on sale for this month. And the sentiments and the images are beautiful. And I think that it's actually, I might have given you the wrong price on the cut and emboss machine. This is regularly $78 and it's on sale this month for $62.25. So almost, let me do my math, almost $16 off. And then the cut and emboss machine, the mini, is regularly $82 and that's on sale this month for $65.50. All right, I'm just gonna see. I'm just going to check out the comments. Thank you so much, friends. I appreciate you guys so much. So lots of people are loving the cards, and Shirley says she's going to share soon. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Darlene. I hope that you've enjoyed this morning's coffee and a card. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me and for letting me kind of share some of my thoughts and feelings. As I mentioned, this community is a safe place. It's a wonderful place of incredible, caring women. And I think it's really nice that we can leverage our love of card making to forge other relationships as well. So I just want you guys to know that I'm super grateful. I appreciate you joining me. I hope you all have a wonderful week ahead. Stay safe, stay well, and stay hopeful. And I'll see you guys real soon. Bye for now.